What's up, guys, gals? It's Griever back here, bringing you guys another behind the bar review that is not for Ayakashi Triangle. I keep wanting to say Ayakashi no Triangle, you know? A lot of Japanese mangas, animes, that kind of stuff, they always have the no in between. Either way, this is chapter number 8, I believe we're on. Yeah, chapter number 8. And the last chapter, we got the kiss. We got the kiss, and we know there's something up with Suzu. We're not really sure. Is it an Ayakashi? Is it a, is it her possessed by an Ayakashi? Is it some sort of dream catcher sort of person? Because she was going to bed with these thoughts on her mind, and during the previous, like at the beginning of that chapter, we heard like, Ayakashi and yokai can come from anything, from nature and plants and animals to even your own emotions and thoughts of people. So if they're strong enough sort of idea, right? So here we're starting off right there at the kiss. I mean, alrighty, so Suzu is kissing her, and she's all, I've already read the chapter. This is probably going to be a pretty quick review, because honestly, this could have gone somewhere. Once again, it's only 8 chapters, and honestly, like, this chapter, we'll just go through it, and then I'll tell you guys what I have still been saying, and honestly, really don't think this this manga has found its sea legs yet, so to speak. If this was a boat, it's not really out of the shallow water yet. We're still trying to find the direction. The compass is still spinning all around. We're trying to find north, right? Like, where is this really going? Because now we're just in another situation. Shirogane is watching it and stuff, and so Misaki's like, Suzu, what are you doing? And then disappeared. And it's like, what? What's going on? Now Suzu wakes up in her own bed and thinking, like, she seems to remember kissing Misaki, but it's all a dream and stuff. And then she's the cell phone rings. Suzu, are you okay, Matsuri? And it's a whole thing. And so the grandfather wakes up and basically tells him about an Omokage shadow, a cloning Ayakashi, a living spirit in the West. They are also called doppelgangers. Stress and other factors can cause large amounts of haku life force to leave the body. And in her case, where she is exuding high amounts of life force, it'd be very easy if she was having this sort of thing. So because they take the form of someone who really exists, they're commonly visible to normal people outside of the regular yokai and akashi. They walk around like ghosts, eventually dispersing and vanishing. So that one of mine, they basically have the embarrassing moment of what happened. Shirogane's just there like, and so Matsuri, sorry, I keep saying Misaki. Matsuri does not fess up to anything and stuff, and says, I can't say that we kissed sort of idea. All of a sudden, the phone is knocked right out of her hand. Ow, hey, what's going on? Something hit my head. And now the grandfather is worried and says, what are you talking about, grandfather? It's the clone. Suzu sharing its sensations. So that means it hasn't actually dispersed. It can appear and disappear at will for short distances, but the Suzu clone did not actually go away. So Suzu's Omokage is still wandering around somewhere. And we see her, yeah, she took a blow to the head, but it's still just a shadow. If the clone is attacked by a vicious Ayakashi or is hit by a car or something, then it's possible that Suzu will also. So it takes the full effect of whatever, sort of like the whole voodoo doll idea, share the pain. I mean, this has been used in many mangas and different, like, usually battle shonens and stuff. It's been used in Bleach, Naruto, and stuff like that. Like, every single time I cut your arm, your clone or this person that I put the seal on will also get the same cut, that sort of idea, right? So they're very, very common in mangas. Now, I'm going to look around. Can you keep talking to Suzu? So, Matsuri is in full ninja garb again. I really like the ninja garb that Matsuri has. I think it looks pretty cool. I really do. And I like the grandpa. Kind of reminded me of a Master Roshi sort of person. So, he is using a tuning fork comb, an exorcist ninja tool that uses sound vibrations to communicate with a Matsuri's armband. Okay, so instead of, I guess, a cell phone, but then again, like explained in a lot of, Digimon did this quite well, since the Digimon digital world sort of idea, digital monsters, but in a lot of these sort of ideas, and a quick explanation in the Harry Potter universe, a lot of people are like, well, why didn't this, why didn't that? Technology tends to go fuzzy when supernatural is around. So your cell phone won't work. Radio waves don't penetrate. That kind of crap, right? You need to fight magic with magic. In magical areas, that stuff just goes haywire. It doesn't work the way it should. There's too much interference sort of idea. And that's very true of technology in our day-to-day here. I mean, has your cell phone ever dropped at a signal because you're in a bad zone? Has your internet ever crapped out? Your Wi-Fi signal been weak, strong? You know, these things happen because of interference. So it's not unlike, it's actually how technology works. So I always bought that pretty easily. So even when they pull out now in 2020 here, when they pull out these sort of things in mangas and fiction and stuff, where it's like, well, why don't they just use regular cell phone and stuff? I always just take it on, that's the reason. If they want to explain it, sure, but so many fictions have used it. We all know it. You know, if you've been reading and watching that kind of stuff, fiction long enough, it's just part of it. So I kind of like this tuning fork thing. It looks like a really old-fashioned phone, but it's all bing, bing, you know. So they're communicating. They seem to be walking on the street barefoot. It tickles. She's still okay. Usually when a human expends a lot of Haku power, they become really weak. In some cases, they could possibly even die. Must be the excessive life force of her. Yeah, so the grandfather's a little concerned, but she seems to be okay because of that. So she's not here at the shrine. There's Shirogane, who said, you said before that figuring out where Suzu would go is a piece of cake for you. Shirogane, the Ayakashi medium, is my prey. I can't have her die before I devour her, so I have no choice but to assist you with the overwhelming sense of smell. And then they're like, Shirogane, alright, like, that's fair enough. And we know that that's his character. I really like Shirogane's character. We already know where this is headed, that when he actually gets full strength back, has the opportunity, he's probably going to either sacrifice himself or choose to save them, or what have you, because he's going to grow attached. You know, that's going to be the thing. There's going to be a bigger, badder, sort of like, oh, I'm the Devil King, or I'm Satan, and I fell to earth sort of idea. But what about the 7 crown princes of hell that are all vying for the throne right now, right? You know, so I'm sure Shirogane has, this is the council of 7 yokai that are super evil, and we'll get that by chapter 30 or something, right? And they'll be overwhelmed by just the power of one of them. You know, I can see that sort of going on, right? Because there's always a council, there's always a group, there's always an evil organization. It's always the way, right? So either way, Shirogane has a bit of a comedy thing there. And Ayakashi's 5 says, vastly superior to humans. I find a little dull. Huh? You're overwhelmingly useless, so it's a bit of a comedy thing. Superior to humans, huh? So they're still fighting back and forth, fighting back and forth. So Suzu can feel the wind in her face and smell grass and the smell of cows and such. So they end up finding here the crepes from Sakura Farms. So that's apparently where Suzu's ghost is going. Now, Suzu's ghost, I guess, is seems to be like the crepes from Sakura Farms, so seems to know them. I guess the spirit is just wandering around, not necessarily where Suzu would go, but just in any sort of area, right? And just seems to be wandering, and Suzu seems to be very, like, unlike Shirogane, that's the comedy of this, is that she does have a good sense of smell. So the place where I always buy crepes in the freshest milk. And then Matsuri goes, is it influenced by Suzu's consciousness that way? It went to Sakura Farms because that's where she goes to buy her products. So it's implied it could be one way or another. It's not confirmed. A cloned human and Ayakashi, 2 bodies. He remembers Soga's words. So now apparently her hand is really starting to hurt. She's trying to pull up the metal shutters because she wants a crepe really bad. So she's trying to, with her body, she's trying to force up a locked, you know, garage door, an overhead door, like the metal shutters. So is the clone an idiot? So this isn't good. An Omokaji is an Ayakashi, and it can manifest the powers that surpass the human body. At this rate, Suzu's going to be charged with breaking and entering. I'm more worried about her hand. Like, I mean, if it's still a human hand, if you keep forcing it, it'll eventually puncture and bleed, and, like, I'd be really worried about that. And her body might not hold up, and that's what they're talking about. So Suzu's fingers are going to break. Yeah. So, not puncture, but I mean, the digits would eventually snap the bones. So, she's moving really fast. So, it's too far. Throw me, Matsuri. Got it. Exorcist Ninja Art. Heavy Wind Blast. I was going to say, it's like Exorcist Ninja Art. Super Fat Cat Throw. You know, I was hoping it would be a comedic name sort of idea, but it's not. So, She goes, transformation jutsu. So Shirogane still has, of course, as we know, the transformation jutsu, and uses it to turn into a Sakura Farms crepe. And then the Suzu Ghost's like, oh, okay. And then bites into it. Yeah, hurry up and catch it, Matsuri. So on it. So the Haku, it lost Suzu's form and disappeared after it took one bite and seemingly was satisfied. So you were thinking about the crepes before you fell asleep. Maybe that's why the Okami was purified when it got its wish. So it's implying that when the Haku leaves the body and manifests itself, it's after a specific desire. Now the desires that Suzu just said before she fell asleep with these heavy emotions was she thought that, you know, I would totally kiss Matsuri. The first wish already fulfilled. The second one was dreaming about crepes or thinking about how good crepes would be. This girl really likes her sweets. She likes to eat a lot. They explain away that's due to the excessive life force, but it's her trait, right? She likes to eat sweets and stuff. Even the sweets she makes for the cat. So with all of this, though, I do like this explanation. I think it makes a lot of sense. So it's like, okay, she's fulfilling the wishes, and once she gets it, like, there's no reason for her to maintain her form. So Shirogane's, I didn't do it for you. If you didn't use your fingers, I wouldn't be able to eat your homemade kibi dongo dumplings. So he does like them. Yeah, so that's sweet. That's nice. I like that, right? Because Shirogane is already, like, sort of warming up to them. I do like that. You're thinking about the crepes before you went to sleep. Of course. Why? Did something else happen? And Matsuri, no, not really. So this incident proves but a glimpse of the Ayakashi medium's powers. Not that I owe it to tell him that, but this confirms it. Suzu is indeed shameless. So Shirogane doesn't like shameless women. He's more proper, and he wants her dressed in a kimono and to act regal and proper. The Princess of Wales, if you would. So, yeah, this was a fun chapter. Quick, short, to the point. I found it to be like the shortest one, even though it's the same page number. I found it really quick and short and to the point. As I said, Matsuri has already, and Suzu's sort of, I mean, just blushing and realizes, but I think Matsuri clearly realizes why that happened. I mean, they're talking together. Maybe that's why the Okami was purified when it got its wish. So both of them sort of realize that the kiss happened, and it's because she was wishing it or thinking about it. So that's a nice development. I hope they're not speeding this up too far. Like, I like the romance aspect, but I'd like to get to the full-on plot here. I'd like to get to the... I mean, maybe this isn't meant to actually have much in the way of the battle shonen. Maybe that's really the side thing, and this is more on the romance. Not that I mind, but even, like, Inuyasha balanced that extremely well. And I'm just hoping that this manga sort of carries... Black Cat carried on romantic stories. Trigun carried on romantic stories. And it wasn't necessarily the super main focus. I mean, this is Shonen Jump, so we do have the battle aspect. I'm just hoping we get to, like, the main plot or the main antagonist, like the direction we're trying to go. I mean, we know right now Shirogane's supposedly the antagonist, but we know that's a running plot line. It'd be more interesting sort of to get to the, okay, here's the high school with the student council, which is more powerful than the president of the United States in manga land, or what have you, wherever, like, so we've already been introduced to another exorcist family and stuff, but what about other yokai or Ayakashi that are after her? What about, like, stronger ones that Shirogane in his current form can't command or control, as I mentioned before? That would be really interesting. I mean, this is the end of the chapter, guys, so I think it was a relatively quick review here. So just to go, as it is a quick review, I'll go on what I meant really quick. What I was meaning to talk about at the beginning of the chapter was, as you guys know, I was doing I already did my Attack on Titan full review, my binge read review. The other ones, they just take a while to edit, guys, as you can no doubt imagine if you watch that one. It does contain spoilers up to chapter 129, so note that if you are going to check it out. But one of the ones I'm doing right now is Hunter x Hunter. Never read it before, and started binge reading it. I'm past chapter 100, and honestly, just like this manga, the reason I'm giving this the benefit of the doubt, we don't really seem to have a real direction yet. We got characters, we got situations, but it seems more like a sitcom. Like, there's a problem a week, you know, Suzu does this, Shirogane does that. Comedy ensues, and then it's all solved by the end of the chapter. Soga can't get over that his rival has boobs. You know, Suzu and Matsuri have unrequited love. Shirogane makes funnies. Like, it's more of a sitcom, like reading the funny page or watching an episode of Friends than it is an actual battle manga or shonen manga with an actual direction and plot. You know, at least that's the way it feels right now. We're doing the villain of the week thing, but that's how a lot of them start off. And the reason I say that I'm giving this a lot of credit, you know, before we really see where it's going to go, because it might not really go anywhere, and this might be the type of manga we're into, is because I was reading Hunter x Hunter, and because I just rewatched Bleach, it was very villain of the week. For 14, 15 chapters, 20 chapters, Bleach was the same way. We got introduced to the power system, and then it was villain of the week. And we weren't really introduced to the Soul Society, the world, and the main characters and cast that we'll come to know and love until that was over, right? And same with Hunter x Hunter. In all honesty, they thrust all the main characters of what I assume of Hunter x Hunter all together at once, and they just, okay, we're all friends, let's go. And it's very quick paced, and I mean, I'm not spoiling my thoughts right here, right now, but honestly, that was a little too quick. So I like that we're getting to know these characters a little better. We're seeing them in different situations. We're having the fluff now, so it makes more sense when they're all right, got to do this, got to do that. All right, we're friends. This is why we do things. You know, you're my comrade. You're my buddy. You know, I feel like we need this sort of idea because, as I said, right now I'm enjoying where I'm at in Hunter x Hunter, but I did not feel attached to it or anything really for the first little part. So that's a little spoiler tidbit for how my Hunter x Hunter will go, at least talking about the first arc of it. So, but either way, I say all this just to give this its credit. You know, I read Assassination Classroom recently, and as I said, Hunter x Hunter, and I was rewatching Bleach, and this is only chapter 8. Gotta take our time. Maybe I'm just expecting it to be quicker than it is because I've been binge reading, but I'm really enjoying this series. I'm really enjoying the artwork. I think it's lighthearted fun for now, and it might get a lot more serious. You know, we get it in another dozen chapters or so. So either way, those are just some final thoughts where it was a shorter review. What did you guys all think of the chapter? What do you think of the review? Like, comment, and subscribe. Always very much appreciated, and we will see you back here next time for Ayakashi Triangle, chapter number 9. Looking forward to it, guys. Drink responsibly as always. See you next time.